Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to my Crochet Basics tutorials. Let me start off this video by saying, like I always do, that this is how I crochet. It in no way represents the entire crochet community. We are all artists and we're all going to develop our own very specific ways of creating. However, there are some basic standards in our community, and that's what I'm here to teach you. That being said, I'm located in the southern United States. I hail from Florida. Hello, guys. And we'll be speaking in U.S. standard crochet terms. So it is very different. If you go to Europe, the terms that they use there are very different than what we use. So just keep in mind that I will be going by the U.S. standard terms. In this video, I'm going to talk about single crochet, counting your number of rows, single crochet in front loop only, single crochet in the back loop only, and I'm also going to go over a really fun, versatile little stitch called the spike stitch. And I love the spike stitch. I use it in a lot of my patterns. So if you have any questions about that, you can always refer back to this video right here, and we will get you doing that stitch in no time, and you're gonna love it and have a great time with it. So without further ado, I have already gone over how I hold my yarn and my hook, so that is in another video tutorial if you need to see that. This is a very tiny little swatch that I started in my last video. It is 10 stitches across, and at this point it is 6 stitches high. So I want to go over how you actually can count that. It's really easy in single crochet because you've got a nice little ridge after each 2 rows. So this is 2, 4, 6 high. Really lovely. That's why I like to use the single crochet in a lot of my patterns, because it's just very easy to count. It's very easy to do, and it looks really nice. This yarn that I am using is a single ply wool, and it has very good stitch definition. So the single ply wools are very warm and they're lovely to work with. So like we did in the last video, I'm going to do 2 more rows of just basic single crochet, so so that we have our flow down. So we can also talk about what it looks like to have 6 rows versus 8 rows, and also 7 rows in between that. So right now we're on our 10th stitch. There is 10, and that is 7 rows. You can see you've got the 2, 4, 6, and then you've got this other little row down here. So that is a 7 row. And we've got one more to do. And hopefully I won't go too slow for you guys, but if I do, just fast forward and you can see where I'm doing something a little bit different. 8, 9, and 10. So there is, if you remember, you could just rewind the video. If you don't, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. So that is 8 rows, and with 6 we only had this right here. So it's nice to see that one little bump. So it's a really quick way to count up your row numbers if you have, you know, say 50 or 100 rows tall. Really easy to count a single crochet, and that is what it looks like. So now we are going to talk about front loop only. So I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to turn, and when you turn, you've got your V. Hopefully that's easy to see there on the video. You've got your V, and you've got a loop in the front of your V, and then you've got a loop in the back of your V. So the one that is closest to you is called the front loop. So when you do a front loop stitch, this first one can be a little bit fiddly. So sometimes I will hook under that way because it's easier than trying to, you know, push through like this. Sometimes if you get a little bit tighter tension, it is a little harder to do. So sometimes I just, you know, I don't even know what that's called. Maybe an up hook? Would that be what it's called? I'm not sure. So this is a front loop only stitch. You see how it looks a little looser there at the join than the previous rows look. This gives a nice little ridge on the other side of the work, and you will see that when I turn here in just a minute. You'll see a little wave ridge. You see this in a lot of patterns that where you're doing waves and you need a little bit more texture. So you see how that is the exact same. This is a single crochet through all the loops. So just a regular single crochet and then a front loop only single crochet. So we're going to do one more row here of the front loop only. And like my disclaimer at the beginning of my video, this is how I crochet, and you are gonna get your own flow. You're gonna get your own way of doing this, and you're gonna try my way and be like, oh, that's so hard. Why does she do that? I watch some other people crochet sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, that looks so hard, but it's beautiful when they do it. It's fun to watch. I love watching other people crochet. So there are 2 rows of single crochet front loop only. So let's count, make sure that we didn't skip any stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I skip one? I think I skipped one. See, I've been crocheting for gosh, long time, and I just skipped one. I did, look at that, I skipped that very first stitch. So let's count the row before. This goes back to what I was saying before. Always count your stitches, especially when you're not paying attention and you're trying to do a video. So let's count this row to make sure that I'm not skipping one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I did skip the first one. I hope you guys weren't following along with that and getting confused. So that is your first stitch, and I skipped that as I was going through the first time. So now we've got 2, 3, let me bring my hands back down so you can see what I'm doing, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I thought it looked a little short while I was looking at it, but then I was like, no, you're crazy. It's not short. Glad I counted. So there we go. We've got single crochet in all the loops. Here, single crochet front loops only. Now we're going to do single crochet back loop only. So chain 1, turn. Now you're going to go into this back loop, the one that is further away from you, self-explanatory. So that one is easier to push straight down into, just like that. Sorry about that, guys. Had to stop the video for just a second. But I have single crochet back loop only there. This one creates a little bit more of a ridge than front loop only does, and you are going to see that as I go back and forth across here. So it creates slightly more texture than your front loop only does, because your back loops are slightly further down than your front loops are. So just experiment with these. They're so much fun to do different things, and if you know how to do, you know, like a ripple stitch or a chevron pattern, Try, instead of going through both loops of the V, try doing a front loop only or a back loop only and see the difference that it makes. So again, here is your regular single crochet, here is your front loop only, and here is your back loop only single crochets. So you can see the difference in that, and they're all lovely and they're all versatile and you can use them for all kinds of fun stuff. So now let's go to a spike stitch. So spike stitches go all the way around the entire stitch here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, and usually these are worked into a regular single crochet and not a front loop or a back loop only. So I'm just going to do a real quick row of regular single crochet for you guys so we can show you what a spike stitch looks like. Now you can do a spike stitch over taller stitches. They are not just for a single crochet. They can be used with, you know, all the stitches basically, just like the front loop and the back loop only are not specific just to single crochet. You can apply this to a double crochet, you can apply it to a treble crochet. So here we go. Now we're looking at the entire stitch, not just the V, the entire stitch. So to go around an entire stitch, this is where you are looking into these holes right here. So to do your very first spike stitch, you're going to go down all the way below the stitch and just complete, kind of pull up so that that bottom loop is even, draw through. And it's really easy to get through that hole there. So if you're having a hard time getting, you know, into the space and it just doesn't seem like your hook wants to go, then you're not in the right spot. The right spot is here beneath the stitch. And you see how it wraps all the way around the stitch, and this looks really good if you use two different yarns. If you are going to use like something like what I'm doing right now, which is a worsted weight, and then put a like a fingering weight over the top of it, or even a crochet thread over the top, it is beautiful because you can see the bottom stitch a lot better. So let's see how many we have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we've got one little stitch left there for a spike stitch. And there you go. There is your spike stitch row. Obviously this is a much bigger, fatter row because you're pulling up a whole lot of yarn in these type of stitches. So you're not going to do a spike stitch row over another spike stitch row. So what I'm going to do, again, we'll just do one more row to show you what that looks like. And then we're going to cut this video off. And if you have any further questions, be sure to ask me in the comments. I want everybody to enjoy crochet as much as I do and have a great time with it. So definitely, if you have any questions, just ask to just put them in the comments, and I promise I will get back to you. And sometimes you do like I just did and you drop that stitch. So make sure when you pull through, you're not pulling just to here like you would in a normal tension. You want to pull it up so that it's even with the top of the stitch, so that you don't start wrapping your rows over with too tight of a tension. Actually, this is a really loose tension kind of row. So there you go. That is what a single crochet spike stitch row looks like if you're going to be using the same yarn to do the spike stitch. Like I said, it just makes it doubly thick and makes it a lot wider and a lot taller because, you know, it's two on top of each other. But there you go. So regular front loop only, back loop only, and spike stitch, all in this lovely worsted weight yarn. If you would like to support me on Etsy, please do so. I have an Etsy store, and I will be posting some of my more complicated or maybe not as frequently seen stitches on this channel. So if you have any questions about anything that is in my Etsy store, any of the patterns, you can check back here, and I'm probably going to have a video on how to do those stitches. So there you go. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks so much.